Monday, daily grind. Monday, Monday. Good morning from the daily grind. I am Luke, your host. This is my good friend, Rusty. Mr. Buckets, how are you, sir? I did it. I did.
Yeah, you almost did. I'm
did.
good, man. So I came real close. You wanted to say Musty so bad, which is fine. You can call me Musty. That's fine. I've been called a lot worse. I can guarantee you.
It was so close. I was like,
No,
how was your weekend, brother?
It was good. It was a good weekend. Yeah, man. Got a lot of family time, which we'll talk about here in just a little bit. But it was a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, some good food. But back on the grind again this Monday morning. It's time to hit the ground running.
Yes, sir. Shout out Wayno too. He stayed awake. You stayed awake. Thank you, brother. We always appreciate that. I'll keep forgetting that you're on the other side of the globe. Time travel's weird.
Yeah, we're talking to him almost tomorrow.
Almost tomorrow. I hate it. There was a lot going on over the weekend, though, and really over the whole week, just NBA related. There was the draft. We'll get a little bit to that later, more to that later. We kind of dove heavy in that last week, but the dust has settled significantly. But in the interim, there were two pretty big coaching hires, two pretty good coaching hires, I would also argue. Kenny Atkinson was hired by the Cleveland Cavaliers. And JB Bickerstaff was not without a job for long, as he was hired by the Detroit Pistons. Both of those are coaches I enjoy. I'm glad they got jobs. You know, I think that both those programs, I don't know if program makes me feel like a British person, but like I don't know. I like the organizations are going to be better for having both of those men as coaches, I would say.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Atkinson's been a name that's been tossed around a ton because of he's been a great bench coach in Golden State for the last 3-4 years. He's done a lot of good work. He's got a good reputation around the association, and I think this is going to be a good hire for Cleveland because it just didn't work out with JB for whatever reason. I've always been a big JB fan ever since he was here in Memphis. Like the guy, like his style. I just think he needs to get somewhere, and they just need to leave him alone and let him just kind of do his thing for a while. And hopefully Cleveland will do that. He's got some young talent there that he can work with. And I think it's going to be a home run hire for both organizations. Atkinson, because of, championship pedigree out in Golden State, a lot of winning out there, unfortunately, depending on your perspective, I guess. And then I'm happy for JB to land on his feet in Detroit for sure.
Man, it seems like yesterday when I remember when Atkinson was coaching that Brooklyn team, and that young Brooklyn team where it was like Karis LeVert and Jared Allen, and they were in the bubble, or the year before the bubble, and everybody was like, yeah, young, fun basketball. And then they got KD, they got Kyrie, and they got James Harden up in there, and that changed in a hurry.
Yeah. In a hurry. And then JB's Grizz teams were fun to watch and root for when he was, our coach there for that short time. I'm excited to see what he can do with that young core because Detroit's got like some really young, really talented dudes, right? And Cunningham and Duran, and then they picked up Ron Holland in the draft. They got some guys that can hoop, man. And I'm excited to see outside of this past year for the Lions, most Detroit pro franchises are kind of poverty franchises, but hopefully they'll let JB kind of grow alongside this young core and see what he can do. Wayno's right. He's been a career assistant, but there's some young talent here. And if he's ever going to make it work, it's going to be in Detroit right now with them young guns he's got.
Well, yeah. And it seems like, I'm blanking. Is Langdon maybe his name? Langdon is also the name of the main character in the Da Vinci Code. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But their new GM, he just seems to, a lot of the times new GMs get new GM syndrome and they come in there and they make a big swing. He just actually seems interested in making a good ball club. So that seems pretty cool.
Right. And again, much like Memphis, we have been much maligned on Twitter and for not making moves and stuff. I am team, hey, let's see what we got. The more I've looked at it over the weekend, the more I'm like, let's ride with this team because we don't really know what we have because we haven't been super healthy. So that's not going to make a move for a move's sake. Just, these other teams are trying to catch up with us. Anyway, I think Detroit's kind of in a similar situation, right? Because they got a lot of young talent. Don't really know what they have because there's, Monty Williams just absolutely drove that thing to the ground last year, like purposely not playing young stars and whatnot. It was silly.
Don't know what he was doing.
No, but again, like Cunningham, you don't know what you got in him. Like he could be an absolute dog. Duran has been a great post player. I think there's a lot of hype and a lot of potential around this Detroit team. And so again, if JB's ever going to do it, it's now.
Yeah. Yeah. Between the two of them, and then you have JJ Redick as the third new coach, and I guess Charles Lee, the guy that went from Boston to Charlotte. It's seems like a pretty interesting coaching class. Excuse me, I'm getting choked up thinking about the coaching class.
So emotional.
I know, it's just there's a lot going on. More interest. I mean, crazy. I want to get to the free agency class though. This coaching class is all interesting, but free agency happened, and there has already been some. That's the noise we're going to do. Moves. I'm just going to go down a list. We're just going to go down a list. I've got it on my phone. We're just going to talk about these. And if I've missed any big, I tried to get them all this morning. If I missed any, please let me know in the comments. You can let me know if you catch them. Just hit me up. I got Paul George agreed to contract with the Sixers, 4-year max, $212 million. I think that was the least surprising move of free agency. I think we all the 76ers going to get, the East with news that Porzingis is going to be missing as much time as he is, like the East is going to be a wide open next year.
Wide open. And they're trying to compete with the Knicks and what they did with Mikal Bridges. And so now everybody's like everybody's trying to catch up to us. Everybody's trying to catch up to the Knicks in the Eastern Conference. So it's a big move for Philly. We'll see.
Yeah. The Philly also re-signed Kelly Oubre, 2 years, $16.3 million with a player option.
I like that signing.
Both of these had player options. Yeah, they both had player options. I like this signing too. I thought this was a good contract for both of them.
Yeah, it's not breaking the bank, but it's a good role player. He's got good potential. He's shown moments where he can really play. I really think the only thing stopping this team right now is some bum knees with Paul George and Joel Embiid. It's going to be the only thing that keeps him out of the playoffs.
Man, as a Sixers fan, it's got to be really strange because you got to love this. If you're a Sixers fan, you're getting Paul George, most overqualified 3 there is, but you're also getting maybe if you were ranking the worst knees in the league, you'd put him right up there with Embiid. It's just tough. It's it's a tough trade-off because I think they're going to be better. Arguably, they're going to be better.
I'm not making this comparison, so don't at me in the comments too much, but it's giving Chandler Parsons, right? Like we're getting an expiring, Paul George is an elite level talent. But Chandler Parsons, we're getting an expiring, good NBA player with a bum knee, and it never worked out for us. So, maybe it'd be better for Philly.
Man, I need to make a rule. We don't talk about him on this show.
He's like the Baltimore of the daily grind.
It's like, I don't like him. I don't like his haircut. I don't like his smile. Anyway, we're going to move on. Derek Jones Jr. signed with the Clippers. I think it's probably, good for him, good for Dallas. I think that was the spot they needed to upgrade. I don't really have opinions either way. I think the Clippers are screwed. I don't know. I just don't know. I feel bad for him. Najee Marshall. I don't feel bad for him. Screw him. Najee Marshall agrees to a contract. Not at all. Agrees to a contract with the Mavs, 3-year, $27 million. I thought this was pretty good, affordable signing. Kind of what the Grizzlies need. If the Grizzlies were looking for someone like a Najee Marshall, this is what I would be. The kind of deal I would be looking at.
Sure.
Mason Plumlee signing with the Suns. $3.3 million. Cool.
Yeah. They needed some help in the post, obviously, and so this is good. He's a solid role player. He's not going to be a superstar big, solid role player for them. Najee Marshall's an improving player, and so Dallas definitely upgraded a little bit, and still we'll see what he's got. Right, he was kind of on the rise in New Orleans, and we'll see. But Plumlee, he fits in Phoenix because they needed a little post help, and that's hella cheap. So.
Well, yeah, and it is worth noting that's one name off the vet center list. And that's really what we need to be monitoring too, like those names, because that's what Memphis needs, arguably. Shout out Wayno. I just got to JV. Valanciunas going to the Wizards, man. 3-year, $30 million deal.
Yeah. That's a name that kept coming up as one that Memphis should potentially target. Wayno, love you, buddy. You're a great dude, but I did not want to see him back in Memphis, man. We'd had one tour of a big guy who can, he was good for us in the moment. I think there's better out there. I think we drafted possibly better in Zach Edey the more I've done research and watched him this weekend. So happy for JB. We'll always kind of root for him because he was a Grizz, but yeah, happy for him to land. But with that deal, but it's just a bummer it's in Washington.
Yeah. Chris Paul going to the Spurs on a 1 year, $11 million deal. I can't think. Can you think of a better point guard for Wemby? Even like a broken old Chris Paul, I just think like to have that guy in Wemby's ear is huge. Just to have someone with that kind of knowledge, just kind of not petting him like a cat, but just giving him basketball knowledge.
Right. I get it. He's an everything point guard. It's funny. Those who know me well know that there are a few people on this planet that I hate worse than Chris Paul. I think he's a bum. He's a little.
You don't like him.
I can't stand Chris Paul. And so, good for Wemby. He does have an all-world point guard who can show him how to be a pro and teach him how to be the next great NBA big. But I can't stand Chris Paul. Anything that good happens to that dude, I can't stand it, man. He's sharp and soft, and that goes back to those Flop City days when he was with the Clippers. I can't stand Chris Paul.
I felt I could just feel it. He's your Chandler Parsons. I could feel it.
1,000%.
I don't know if he's going to be any good. Like that. Like my thing is, you're getting someone that helps Wemby right now, but you're getting someone that doesn't help you win right now. Arguably, I would say that. Like I think because he fell off a cliff fast with Golden State last year. Like
it almost feels like the Derrick Rose role, right? Like he'll give you some minutes, 8 to 12 minutes. He can come in and facilitate. He's at the point in his career where his game is more about facilitation than it is actually like bucket getter. And so he can go out and he can be that floor general, but he doesn't have to give him, 25 minutes a night. And he can be that locker room presence, that leader for a young core and an up-and-coming team and help Stephon Castle. I think that's going to help Stephon Castle a lot, too, stepping into that role for San Antonio.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. That's what I think. That's where I look at this. The Stephon Castle, the Derrick Rose role, I think you just hit that perfectly. Well said. Eric Gordon signed with the Sixers. For those of you watching at home, you may have noticed that the Sixers that's a lot of Sixers moves. The Sixers who had a lot of cap space have been spending. Yeah. Here's a big one. KCP to the Magic. Yeah. 3 years, $66 million. Man, this is big. This is a big deal. It's a big deal in a lot of ways because you're getting – if you're Denver, you're losing another person on your championship roster. That's a starter. You've lost Bruce Brown. Now you've lost KCP. That's something.
Yeah.
And the West is only getting better. And it's exactly what Orlando needs if you're Orlando. Yeah. He's exactly what you need. That hard-nosed, plays some defense, doesn't demand the ball, championship pedigree. If I'm Orlando, Orlando, I'm patting you on the back. It's a really good. You don't break the bank for Chris Paul or for Paul George, like a lot of people were saying they needed to do. I just thought this was a home run signing by Orlando, and Denver's in trouble. More.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Wayno said, Denver has no bench now whatsoever, and KCP was a great, $6 man for them, and just real. He's a lot like J. Mike was for us, like the change of pace guy that comes in, plays really hard. And if you watch our show, 2 Buck Sports Show, everybody knows I'm a huge Banchero fan. I'm excited about that young Orlando team. They're going to be a team I'm watching in the East, and I'm outside of Memphis, that's the team I'm going to kind of be side eye watching and kind of rooting for in the East because that young core with Wagner, I love Wendell Carter Jr. Wanted him to be in a Grizzly uniform next year. I really like this move for Orlando, and KCP just fits that mold and gives them, because they've got some flashy scores, but this, like you said, this gives them a guy that can just hard nose, absolutely get after you, play some good defense.
Yeah, and he's I love it too because it's a guy who's. I imagine this is someone that these young guys are going to listen to, because he's not an old head, a quote unquote old head, he's not that far removed from the championship, and is there anybody in the league that doesn't like KCP? He seems to have a pretty universal approval rating, Yeah,
it's in Georgia boys, man. You got him, you got Ant in the league. They're just guys everybody likes, just dogs, that just play hard basketball, man. So I think it's a good move for Orlando.
Well, and for a team that was the 5th seed last year and took the 4th seed to 7 games, it's exactly the kind of move you need to make. It's exactly 100%. What you need to do.
It gives you that playoff experience for sure. That now you got some on your core. Now you got a guy with a championship pedigree, and so it's just so much more momentum for Orlando for sure.
Yep. All right, a couple more. We got Kevin Porter Jr. signed with the Clippers. Vet minimum. Andre Drummond signing with the Sixers. I like this deal. I've always liked Andre Drummond. He's getting 2-year, $10 million, which is crazy because he's been playing on the vet men for like years, and he's out of the vet men. I just think that's pretty awesome. Shout out him.
It's going to spell Embiid too. It's going to do some stuff that Embiid doesn't do super well right now in his career because of injuries. I think it's a good move for Philly. It's one that he's a name again that came up a lot in Memphis circles as a guy who could be in like a vet big for us. But I like it. Yep,
and that's another big off the list. A couple guys returning to their teams. You got Kevin Love. You've got Luke Cornett. You've got James Harden, Max Christie, Obi Toppin, Alex Lynn. These are all guys that are staying where they're at. Nick Claxton re-signed. Trying to think. The other big one, DeJounte Murray went to the Pelicans. That's the only big one I would like to hit. Is DeJounte Murray to the Pelicans. Pretty big. I am not excited about that as a Grizzlies fan. That makes for the Pelicans, if they can stay healthy and if they can get off that Ingram contract, pretty dang good.
Yeah. This is the one that got Grizz Twitter pretty upset over the last couple of days because our division counterpart, not the divisions matter in the NBA, but our division counterpart made a pretty big splash and added some scoring, and it's looking like they're going to come off that Brandon Ingram deal. I love this for New Orleans. DeJounte Murray can get buckets. He's a dog. He's a hard player. I think this makes him instantly better, gives him some offense. Herb Jones is a guy on the rise. He's one of the best defenders, but is starting to be able to get an offensive game. If Zion can stay healthy, this makes New Orleans. I mean, they were good last year. They were kind of like us, little injury bug, especially towards the end of the year with Zion's hamstring. But if they can stay healthy, DeJounte Murray is a bucket getter. This is a good move, man. And you pair him alongside, some of the young talent they got coming up there.
Murphy.
New Orleans put a lot of Murphy. This team, New Orleans put a lot of folks on notice for this.
Yeah, yep. I was not. This wouldn't bum me out. Granted, we're gonna shift a little bit. I'm not sure. It bummed me out just because they're in our division, but I don't know what the Grizzlies need, man. Like other than the vet big, like I've kind of sat with these signings. Well, it should be said that another bit of free agency news, the Grizzlies declined, or they didn't decline that they they did. They declined Luke Kennard. They declined his option, and they are, quote, eager to restructure his contract in free agency. And from what it sounds like, that's real. It does. From what it seems like that's a real report. It doesn't seem like it seems like they are actually interested in bringing him back. Yeah. That being said, where with this the 2024 class here. And that's Zach Edey, Jalen Wells, and Cam Spencer. With these guys, what do we need? Because I'm looking. I like Edey more and more as every day goes on. He's not playing in the Olympics. He's just going to be playing Summer League, which is what you want to hear. The dude is saying. I texted you this last night. This dude is saying all the right things.
Yep.
And
absolutely
doesn't seem bravado either. This dude just seems like a tough SOB that wants to play basketball.
That's it. Yeah. And is really humbled by the opportunity that he has in front of him to play for an NBA franchise and is doing all the right things, saying all the right things. Some guys hopped in our comments on our show from Friday that were Purdue fans. And so go check out a lot of good insight dropped in the 2 Buck Sports Show comment section on our YouTube video, on our YouTube channel. I agree, man. Like he kind of solves a lot of the issues we have from a big perspective. Because now we've got a big center we can play with. We can still run. Jaren's still going to get minutes at the 5. Exactly. Jaren's still going to get minutes at 5. We got BC coming off the bench. If Santi stays, he could be in extreme, circumstances a small 5 for us. I don't know, man. I really don't. Because last week I was very much team. All right, let's go get another big. Let's get another scoring wing. I still think, as our boy Anthony Sane says, we need to ditch some of these boneless wings because it's just dead money. You got 18, 19 million tied up across Jitty, Zaire, LaRavia, and these guys. Like LaRavia might get some minutes next year. He might be the 13th, 12th, 13th guy on this roster. But if you look at like our core, right? Because when it comes to the playoff time, your lineup shrinks, and you've probably got 8 or 9 guys that you run out there every night. I don't know that there's a better top 8 or 9 guys that we could find, like, because we don't really know what we got, right? But, I mean, it's like that's out there available in free agency, exactly. Because like I don't know, we don't know exactly what we have because we've been so injury riddled these last couple of years. I mean, Luke, if we can stay healthy, we can run this back with a restructured Luke Kennard, and I think it's smart for both people that have like to stay for Luke to stay in Memphis, right? I think it's smart for the Grizzlies because we need the shooting. It's smart for Luke Kennard because, buddy, we're fisting to be on a championship run, and you can be a major contributor to that. That's it, man. Like you're getting that journeyman label, right? Where you've been 4 teams in what's a relatively short NBA career. Stay in Memphis, restructure, and go win a ship, man, because that's the direction that we're heading. And he could be one of those 8 or 9 guys that play in the playoffs for us to get big buckets. I just don't know where we need, like, I don't see a spot on our roster where it's like, we've got to make a move here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because honestly, here's how I see it. I think Edey fills the immediate need. The Wells and Spencer, to me, I think Jitty's gone. Spencer does everything that Conchar does, but better. Everything. Yeah. He's exactly this type of player. He's the kind of guard that rebounds. He's the kind of guard that really will do anything you ask of him. He's tough, like Jitty. Only difference is, whereas we hope Jitty's shot goes in, Spencer was almost a 50, 45, 90 guy in college and shot the ball over 40% over 5 years. Like that dude is a buzzsaw. Like, and Wells eliminates your boneless wing situation. So for me, they really did address in the draft. It's like, you know what? They're not reshuffling anything. They're just getting the guys that are dead weight out, or they should. Like, because you can get Jitty and Z, package the 2 of them together and go get you that big in free agency. And that the money's that, like, because that's $10 million, $9 million between those 2 contracts, Jitty's and that's what it, and Z's, like, and the more that I watched Wells and Spencer, it's like these guys are better shooters than any of these other wings we drafted. And I'm with you. I don't know what we need.
I wouldn't be surprised by the end of the year. Jalen Wells is getting serious minutes at our 3 position because that guy, he's a hard worker. He's got a chip on his shoulder because he's a former D2 guy who worked his way all the way up to Wazoo and had a monster Pac-12 tournament. The guy can shoot. He's a plus defender. He can handle the basketball. He's very athletic. He's still very raw, but like the more I watch film on Jalen Wells and the more I dug in on him this weekend, dude, we got us a dog at an absolute deal where we got him at pick 39. I love it, man. I like the direction the team's going. I think you're right. Like, we've got to do some salary dump to get down a little bit and give us some breathing room. And I think there is a deal out there that, if it costs you LaRavia, and I know the front office has come out and said that they really like LaRavia and they're not going to move him, but like if that's what it takes to move off of Jitty's just asinine contract, move Z, and then we've still got our next 6, 7 first-round picks. We've got a ton of second-round picks. Like, we've got some assets that you'll probably have to give up in order to do a salary dump, but it's worth it, man. Because like you said, then you can take that money, go get a free agent big, if you feel like you need that for those extra minutes. And the nice thing is, Luke, like, if we don't do anything from now until the start of the season, we're still going to roll out a really competitive team that's going to be very good. Like, what I see so many people are panicking. They're getting like move fever because everybody's making moves right now. We're not. And so they're like, everybody's hair's on fire on Grizz Twitter. Bro, we have until the trade deadline next year to do something. Like, chill. Like, there's a lot of opportunity here for us to do something. What if we just roll this team out and we're just a bunch of badasses and we beat the hell out of everybody and we don't need to make a move? Otherwise, you've got the trade deadline.
We just got 3 new dudes that we don't know how they fit with this team at all. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This team was winning games when half your roster was hurt. Why did I say sick?
Hurt.
I don't know. I'm with you. Sick, hurt. I'm with you. It's like, why? Let's slow roll it a little bit. We got time.
Everybody breathe. Anthony Sane calls himself, he is the tribal chief of Grizz Twitter. Like, listen to us. We're with it. Like, everybody breathe, relax. Like, listen to your buddies at the Daily Grind. Deep breath. We'll be just fine.
Deep breath. We're going to take a quick break. And during that break, I invite you to breathe. And real quick, Wayno, shout out. Yes, That is the very first issue of Luke Cage Hero for Hire that was ever published in 1968, I believe 1967. It's one of my favorite things in the world. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to talk about some lasagna and Mondays because it's Mondays and therefore lasagna right after this break.
I think people knew, at least towards the end of the year, Penny mentioned his mom being sick and battling throat cancer, I think it was, and different things. But like, he really opened up about it. I don't know that anybody knew about his mom having a stroke mid-season, leaves a shoot around, goes home to find his mom on the floor, and then had to basically leave her to still go coach a game.
It's crazy.
Like I can't, it puts things into perspective. It's just like some things are more important than basketball. And so, yeah, to your point of him being distracted or focused on taking care of or the health of his mother, like totally understandable. So no wonder a part of him probably feels personally attacked. I think if that had been out, and I'm not saying he should have put that out, like totally his family,
absolutely not.
Privacy, whatever. I'm just saying, had it been out and people known that, I think he would have been given a lot more slack for what had occurred during the season.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
I don't know that there's been a more polarizing prospect in recent memory than Edey. I mean, everyone just had wild opinions on him. You find guys, people whose opinion I really respect in the draft community, who had Zach Edey number one. You'll also find people whose opinion I really respect who had Zach Edey in the 20s or 30s. So he was all over the place. I settled with him as a top 10 guy in this class. And, you know, I've told a couple people I kind of want to edit my draft board now and put him like top 3 because I just think the Grizzlies are a perfect fit for him. Like this makes so much sense. And I think the more you think about it and the more you look at what he does well and what he brings.
Welcome back. I came back early because my screen froze and I didn't know where the commercial was. So we're back early. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. That was a new commercial. I didn't get to finish it. Was it good?
It was very good. Good commercials.
Okay, I froze everything on my TV, on my screen, and I was like, oh my God, I don't know what's happening. Is everyone there? Thank you for sticking with us through that. I will let it play the whole time tomorrow. I promise, now that I know what I'm doing. But welcome back to the Daily Grind. So on Mondays around here, we do a little something for lasagna. So Garfield the cat is one of my favorite things in the world. It's a cat. It's hilarious. He hates Mondays for obvious reasons. He also loves lasagna. And so on Mondays, we like to toast, as it were, to our Monday from the weekend and also our lasagna from the weekend. You know, just to enjoy, you know, and you got to take the good, you take the bad, like Garfield. Sure. Even though he takes the good more often than the bad, but you got to take them both. I'm happy to go first. So let's go with my Monday. I was still getting over a little bit of a stomach bug. You know, I was sick on Thursday, pretty sick. And so I had to eat like chicken broth and saltines. And that was all I was able to eat for like a couple days. And with this heat, just like, I hate that, you know, like I don't like feeling sick or weak when it's this hot. It kills me. You know, if it's gonna be this hot, I want to feel like I can at least function as a human. But it's okay because my lasagna for the weekend was I bought a kiddie pool. I got a kiddie pool, and it's like a dog pool. It's like one of those heavy duty pools for dogs, and I got it set up in the back and spent all afternoon yesterday. Me and Kyla, we were just out there, just had like music playing, and we're just out there with the dogs, and we're just chilling. And
love that.
Everyone should get yourself a kiddie pool, guys. You don't need one of these fancy above ground pools or an underground pool. In-ground pool. You can just get an underground pool sounds sick. Just get a kiddie pool, and they're like $15 from the Wally World. I don't know. My lasagna are kiddie pools that they exist.
I like that.
And now I want a kiddie pool full of lasagna, but that's for the pot.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, man, I had a lasagna a couple weeks ago for the first time in a hot minute, and I forgot how good that stuff is. Oh, it's so good, dude. But hey, shout out to Garfield. I watched the Garfield movie this weekend with my nephews, and so kind of that's my lasagna is a lot of nephew time this weekend. I went home and spent it with my family. We watched the Garfield movie. We watched the Super Mario Brothers movie again. Great movie.
I love that movie.
And actually, it was very, very good. It's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Found myself like leaning in at that last scene, and they raced the Rainbow Road. Like it was so nostalgic for me, but. Yeah, man, cooked some tacos Saturday night at my dad's. We had a great family time this weekend. Played some wiffle ball in the yard, and it was a ton of fun. My Monday though is my daggum dog is in that phase where she's just like Velociraptor, just destroying everything. And so like I buy her a nice little cushy bed for her kennel. She chews a hole in it. Looks like it's snowed in here. There's currently cotton balls everywhere in here. This is the second one that she's chewed up in the last week. And so, buddy, you're going to be laying on a hard kennel for a little bit because I ain't going out and dropping all this cash on beds until you figured it out, sweetheart. So my Monday is all the cotton balls all over my office floor in here where she's destroyed another bed.
I love it, man. I don't know what it is about dogs that obsess them to just destroy beds, but it's wonderful. It turns into like a war zone, and you're like, what happened here? Did you murder the abominable snowman?
I go to the gym this morning. It's fine. I wake her up this morning, let her out for go to the gym. Everything's fine. I come back from the gym and it's just like, poof, like it's like a winter wonderland in here with cotton balls everywhere.
I was gone for an hour. What happened? What did you do? Like, it wasn't me. I didn't do nothing. Yeah. All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. That's going to do it for our show today on Mondays. But have a good week, everybody. I will be back tomorrow, maybe with Rusty, maybe with Uncle Buck. We'll see. We're going to play it by ear. Everybody have a great day. Stay cool. It looks like it's going to be hot. Remember, if I can leave you two things, remember to be a little weird and remember to smile. Everyone have a good day, and I will see you tomorrow.